Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of No One Is Coming. The answer is you, your personal development and empowerment podcast. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs, and today we are diving into the 3 C's. The 3 C's for your personal success, business success, life success, in any and every area of your life. What are the 3 C's that you need to have in order to create success? If you're interested and curious, no, that's not one of them, let's dive in. In a world where we often find ourselves waiting for someone to come and save us, it's time to embrace one powerful truth. I hate to tell you this, but no one is coming. The answer is you. Welcome to the podcast that empowers you to take charge of your life and unleash your true potential. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. So, if you're ready to embark on a journey full of self-discovery, growth, and actually take responsibility for your life, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. Now let's rock and roll. So hello, and welcome back. I'm your host, Ofri Fuchs. I am a transformational life coach and a keynote speaker, and I am loving this episode because I love to be creative, and this creativity comes forth in this episode that I created for you, and it's all about the 3 C's for your life success, for your business success, for your personal, whether it's physical success, whether it's a relationship success, anything and everything that you want to focus on. If you incorporate these 3 C's, then you can create success and growth in your life. And what are they? I know you're in suspense, so here you go. Are you ready? So the 3 C's are, number 1 is clarity. We're going to dive into each and every one of them. I'm just going to name them, all 3 of them. So the first one is clarity. The second one is, what do you think? Creativity, like I mentioned before. And the third one is commitment. So clarity, creativity, and commitment. And I know it sounds pretty straightforward and obvious, but we are going to dive into them and see how the more we really understand not only the importance of these 3, but how to incorporate them and how to utilize them and how to gain them. How do you get clarity? How do you get creativity? Can you get creativity? Or is it something that you're just born with? And of course, how do you get commitment? And in order for that to happen, you need to start creating momentum as well. So we're going to dive into all 3. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelt for your path to success. Here we go. So let's start again with the first C. This is going to be a tongue twister episode. The first C, and that is clarity. Clarity is all about having a clear vision of what it is that you want. So again, whether you're talking about your business, your relationship, your personal development, your personal physical body, once you have clarity, then you know where you're going. Okay, it's the same example that I'm always using about the destiny in your Waze GPS navigation system. So once we have clarity, then we can lose all the noise and all the clutter that surround us because we know where we're going and it's very accurate. It's also clear when you want to feel a certain way. So let's say you want to feel happy, joy, peace of mind. And all of a sudden you find yourself watching the news, it's very clear that you're off path. Okay, if you want to feel a certain way and just by watching the news you're feeling a different way, then obviously you need to stay away from that path of watching the news, opening yourself to social media, whatever that is, so you don't lose sight of where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to achieve. So if you know Tony Robbins, he has a very famous quote that I'll share with you. Clarity is power. The more clear you are about what you want, the more likely you are to achieve it. And again, just like the navigation system, it's quite simple. If you have a clear destination, the navigation system will take you there. So if you trust that you have a personal navigation system in your soul, in your emotional, mental, conscious system, the more time you spend reflecting on where it is that you want to go, on your values, on your opinions, on your long-term goals, the more you ask yourself, what it is that I truly want in my life.
What is it that I want to create? And once you know that, what is the first step that can take me there? And sometimes it can depend. It depends if you're working with a coach. Different coaches have different systems. You can go backwards. You can go from, Rich Lippman says, a goal is a place to come from. So you start from that. What is the one step before I achieve that? And what is the one step that I achieved before that? And what is the one step that I achieved before that? Or you can start walking forwards. Okay, what is the very first step I can take towards that? What is the very first thing that I need to either learn or create or achieve that can take me towards that goal? So once you have specific, achievable goals, you break those down. You break down your big dreams, your big visions into smaller, achievable, manageable steps. Then you have a feeling of success. It's not going to be overwhelming to you. It's going to give you a very clear roadmap to follow. And you're going to start walking on that path, and you start building momentum, gaining success. It's not only about knowing what you want and how to get there. It's also understanding and knowing on why it is that you want. And don't talk to me about money. I want to make $1 million. Why? Because I want to make $1 million. No. You want to make $1 million because you want to buy a house, because you want to feel, and this is the most important thing, you want to feel a certain way. You want to feel calm. You want to feel secure. You want to feel free. So the goal is calm, free, secure. Those are your motivations. You start by creating that feeling, and you walk back to, how do I start creating that house that I want to? And you might find out that you don't really need the house to have those feelings. And that might be a topic for a different podcast, who knows? But just keep in mind that you might start off by wanting the house because your reason why is security, freedom, safety, calm. But you might realize that you can gain those securities, freedom, safety, calm in a different means, and you don't have to spend $1 million. Okay? Just keep that in mind. All right, so that was the first one, clarity. Know where you're going, break it down to small steps, and figure out your reason why. The bigger the why, the more achievable you'll find it to be. But the second C to create success, because you might know where you're going, but you're like, what is the first step I need to take? And that might require some C, creativity. Now, creativity is often mistaken. People are like, well, I'm not creative. I wasn't born creative. I'm not an artist. You don't have to be born as an artist or a musician to think of yourself as creative. Because creativity in reality is a skill. Everyone is creative. And if you don't think of yourself as creative, you just have to look and see how creative you are. You know when you're creative? If you're a mom and you need to juggle between getting your one kid into the bath, the other kid into bed, and the other kid, I don't know, picking him up from a friend, okay? That and juggling that and trying to keep the house in a state of calmness and everything is under control, that's creativity. Because you're finding different ways and excuses and playfulness to get one kid into the bath, to get the other one into bed, and to get the other one back home. So it's about thinking outside the box. It's finding a new, maybe innovative solution to a very basic, maybe a boring problem, like putting a kid in a bath that you have to go through every single day. It's also about bringing new ideas to life. So new ideas come from having a sense of peace and being open to something new to come through, to that inner voice, inner wisdom. If we want to quote Steve Jobs said that creativity is just connecting things. So he says, when you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something. And then it just seems obvious to them after a while. So creative people just allow a new idea, a new thought to come through, and they actually follow it. They don't go like, oh, this is silly. Where did that idea come from? It's unorthodox. Yes, creativity is unorthodox. And it starts with curiosity. That's another C for you. It starts with curiosity. You have to ask yourself, I wonder, how would that come about? If I need to solve this problem, if I need to create the new step for my vision, what would that look like? What would be fun for me? What would be unique for me? So you have to start by being open to explore new interests, new ideas, new experiences. You have to challenge yourself to see things from maybe a different angle, maybe a different perspective. You have to question what you already know. Is this true? Is this the only way possible to do a certain thing and to think a certain way? And when you're faced with a problem, don't settle for the first solution. What else is available for me? What else is possible? Brainstorm. Brainstorming, I love brainstorming. It just opens up. It like you know how you say throw spaghetti into the wall? You have to try things and open your mind to the silliest things that come through and consider unconventional approaches. I had a client yesterday. I had a talk with her, and she came up with this brilliant idea through like a silly VR session that she saw in like a birthday party. So she had one experience, and she brought it forward to her work, and she actually won like an innovative award. So just by having I went to a birthday party, I had this VR experience, I brought it, it clicked, something clicked, and she connected the dots. So she saw something that wasn't there before. But the reason it happened is because she was open to it. So how do you foster creativity? How do you allow it to come through? So first of all, you have to, especially with kids, this is very, very important for kids, you have to create an environment that encourages it, that says, it's okay to be goofy, silly, be inspired by new ideas, books, arts, nature, people, and like I said, with a birthday party, circumstances, environment that stimulate your thinking in a different way. Sometimes people say, go jump on a trampoline, because you never know what will come through. Just give yourself permission to be playful, to experiment, without fear of failure or being silly or looking goofy. And remember, some of the most creative ideas come from taking risks and making mistakes and taking showers. If you know anything about high tech and the research about taking showers, look it up. But a lot of creative ideas come in the shower because you're just letting inner voice come through. And another key, we talked about brainstorming a little bit. So another key idea is allow yourself to collaborate, because it's part of that brainstorming. It's a different aspect of brainstorming, but collaborating with people, like different people, that can spark new ideas for you. That can stimulate you in a different way. That can create a different thought pattern from an unexpected direction. So don't be afraid to seek out and communicate and collaborate and get feedback and give feedback to people that are very different from you, because you can build on ideas that come from others. So it's a really, really good idea if you want to be creative and kind of trigger your brain to think differently. That's creation for you, and that's creativity for you. And now we're diving into the third and the final C. And you can't really achieve anything without it. And that is, did you guess it? It's commitment. So let's give an example from a relationship. Let's say your relationship with your partner, your significant other, is, you've been together for 20, 30 years, and it's kind of a plateau. It's kind of like a status quo. It needs some spark. You need to get back on the horse of that relationship. So the first thing, we're talking about clarity. You want to have a vision of what you want your relationship to look like, to feel like, to be like. So you start with that. And so there's your clarity. And then you're like, I'm going to be creative. I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to take her out on the beach and propose again, or do something wonderful. And that's fantastic. That's creative. It's miraculous. The evening is wonderful. The date is wonderful. The weekend is wonderful. But then you're back to your old habits. If you're not committed to creating that relationship every single day, it doesn't matter what your vision and how clear you are. It doesn't matter how creative you are. You have to be committed. So while clarity and creativity are crucial to get yourself going, to create a momentum, they don't mean anything without commitment. You're not going to gain any success without commitment. So commitment is about taking consistent, that's another C for you. Isn't that miraculous? Look at those C's. Consistent action. Consistent action towards your goal. My light just fell. Even when it's difficult. So you have to be dedicated. And know, if you keep your reason why in the back of your head, then you can keep moving forward and keeping that course and pushing forward, even when it's difficult, no matter what the obstacles that you might encounter. So I'm going to give you another quote for this one, and it's from Vince Lombardi, and I love that one. The quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. It doesn't mean we're talking about relationship, your business, your finances, your body, your health. It doesn't matter what area of life you choose. If you want to excel in it, if you want to create a change, different outcome, then you have to be committed. The quality of your life in that area is going to be in direct proportion to your commitment to excellence. And that again requires discipline, and that requires perseverance. Because we all know, and I've been there, raise your hand if you did. I can't see you, but raise your hand, raise your heart if you did. Because it's easier to start something. And I'm a master in starting something new. But sticking to it, I gotta say, I can honestly say, I've done more starting than achieving, than getting all the way through. And that's where the real challenge is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one here. So develop a routine, because the routine is what's going to keep you on course. It's going to keep you on course to support your goals, to make a habit of working at whatever habit you choose every single day. And celebrate your wins. Because if you're on that course to creating that perfect relationship, and you decide that every single day you come through that door and you give your wife a kiss, or your significant other a kiss, and you keep that, or every Friday you bring home flowers with a card, don't forget the card, and you keep that, that's a small, very, very significant win for you. And that builds up, that creates momentum, that's compounding your successes. And that will keep you motivated, because you're going to see the feedback from whatever it is that you're doing. If you're every day at the gym, that's going to compound, even if it's 10 minutes a day. What can be also helpful and beneficial for you for creating that commitment and that momentum is accountability. If you have someone that can be accountable for you to maintaining your commitment, if you have a friend that you share your goals with, it's a mentor or a coach, that they can provide support for you and hold you accountable, that will be fantastic for you. That really pushes forward. That really, really helps. Sometimes it's just knowing that someone else knows, and if the next time you guys talk, will be like, hey, did you do this or not? That can make all the difference for you. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And another important aspect, the last aspect I'm going to talk about with commitment, is the resilience, because we're going to hit a wall. So setbacks and failures and moments of breakdown, that's all a natural part of the journey. So don't see them as, like I just mentioned, a failure, or don't see them as a reason to give up. No, it's just a setback. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to take a break, to rest. You're in this for the long term. You're in this for the long haul. You're in this for the big vision, remember? So it's about that clarity, where you want it to go, your big reason why. There are going to be some turns along the way. Just remind yourself of why it is that you're on this path and why you started out in the first place, to focus, to gain back your focus. Now we're going to incorporate and bring back all these 3 C's together. So number 1 is the clarity, right? Number 2 is the creativity. And number 3 is the commitment. So imagine them, all of them is like an interconnected element. So clarity is what gives you the direction. It gives you the vision. Creativity is what provides the innovative ways to get there. You know, the curiosity, how to reach your destination, the exploration, the growth. And then commitment ensures that you're on track. It keeps you moving forward. And together, they create a really powerful framework for you to achieve any goal in any area of your life, in your personal, financial, relationship, health, whatever it is that you want to create in your life. Those are your 3 C's. So if I give a last and final example, if you want to start like a new business. I have a client that wanted to start a new business. She wanted to quit her day job. She wanted to start a new business. She had a very clear vision of what she wanted to create. She wanted to create a studio, a yoga studio. It was very clear to her. And then all of a sudden she saw opportunities. She was creative about, you know what, my basement, I can turn that and clear that out and clear the clutter. That's also, clear the clutter is really good C's to use. So she cleared the clutter and she turned that into a yoga studio. She created that from scratch. And she knew who her target audience was. And she started to be creative about different ways to advertise and market and how to price it. But she had to be committed and stay on course and keep advertising and keep marketing. And that's what started to bring in business and started to create the word to mouth. And even though there were challenges and she was like not a really tech savvy and she was shy about posting, all that kind of made her grow and expand her skills and create a business. And now she's running her own yoga studio. That's fantastic. I'm so proud of her. So I hope that story inspired you for what you can be and what you can achieve. Because as we wrap up today, I want you to remind you, just remember, I started off by saying about the 3 C's, but then we added curiosity and clearing the clutter and all these other C's that were fantastic and really brilliant for this episode. But it's not just a concept. You can invent and create any other C that you want, okay? Because this is your life. No one is coming. The answer is you. You're the one that's going to create it. So make a habit to seek the clarity and seek new goals and new ways to grow and new ways to be creative, new ways to explore, new ways to commit, new ways to grow and to create your success in life. Because it's not about achieving your goal. It's not about achieving your vision. It's about moving forward. So I hope these insights inspired you today. And I hope you got some great value out of today's episode. This was really, really fun for me. Again, if you have anything else you would like me to explore in this podcast, please write to me and reach out at ofrifuxi, OFRIFUXI @gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you and see where you are and what I can do to serve and help you. So please share this episode if you found this helpful. I thank you for tuning in, for listening, and I hope you have a brilliant day. And remember, you're the one. No one else is coming. The answer is you. Go be powerful, beautiful, spectacular you. I love you, and I thank you. I'll see you next time.